to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
Now, let me ask you this. When we read a good novel, a good fiction book with a grand story, and the characters are just well thought of, and this thing goes somewhere, and like there's a liveliness to it, or like it's like it takes on a life of its own. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, so we sort of get that, and we love that, and the story clicks and becomes popular because we see the characters kind of playing out their story on a grand level. But why don't we live our lives that way more? You know what I mean? Like, we all sort of, when we read a really good story, we don't say, like, basically what we say is like, dude, that was awesome. It was a great story. And we just feel inspired in those types of things. Rarely are we like talking about the specifics. That felt inspirational because, of these, 6 things. We just kind of know.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like we're tapping into the way that life should be lived, because almost universally, when there's a really good story, we all know it's a good story.
Yeah.
But then a lot of times we put the book down and then just go living our lives in sort of a half-fast function.
Yeah.
What's that disconnect all about?
I think it's very simple. And I think it can be distilled down to this. I think it's easy and appealing to find an escape. And once you've had that escape, you just go back doing your thing. And an escape is anything from drugs to a video game to watching a bunch of movies or TV to reading a novel. It's in that same kind of camp of just of being an escape.
Mm-hmm.
It just isn't. It just seems more appealing because it's like, oh, I'm reading a book.
Mm-hmm.
But to a certain degree, you're still escaping. You know, you're still entering into a world, especially when you're reading fiction. You're still escaping into a world and getting caught up with characters and the story and escaping to that world. I mean, Harry Potter is a perfect example because readers were literally transported to a wizarding school. When you're reading it, you're there at Hogwarts with Harry, Ron, and Hermione. That is an escape in every sense of the word.
Sure.
And so I think it's easy to like want to escape to these worlds, to these, in these books. And then when you go back to everyday life, it's just everyday life.
Yes.
Which I think is what uniquely sets the Bible apart from any other written, narrative. Because obviously it's God-breathed, it's God-inspired, and I believe in, submitting to the entire authority of Scripture. But it's so different in that, it's there's the life that Jesus lived in his ministry is a challenging one to Christians and to its readers. He's calling us to pick up our cross and follow him. I think that's just what sets it apart from, other books. That's why it's more than just it's more than just an escape.
Yeah. Yeah, you're totally right about that. Wow. Man, that was fun. I'm glad we went down that rabbit trail.
Yes.
That was great, man.
Yeah, that was great. I anytime I can talk about creative writing at any length, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah.
I clearly love it.
Yeah, it's a fascinating topic.
Yeah.
And I feel like it plays on so much
more
than just writing too. Like it bleeds out into other areas of life.